independent. Okay, the other thing I believe in, and I'm going to tell this to comics, make your own room. Don't wait for someone to pick you. I worked in the movie industry, and I watched actors go for auditions and auditions and auditions. But the ones who've done the best made their own shows. They made their own tapes. They did everything themselves, and that's how they got out there. Now there's YouTube. You don't have to wait for a studio to pick you up. You can produce something now. Make your own room. Okay, Tony.
Welcome to the Comedy Equation with the Powell brothers, where every episode begins with a joke. Here we go.
Okay, welcome back. This is the Comedy Equation. I'm your host, Frank Powell. Today we have kind of a VIP here who's been there already. We're going to figure out how she got there. It's Suzi Chicago. Do you like the way I said that?
Suzi Chicago.
Suzi Chicago. Suzi Chicago.
It's a tongue twister.
Easy to say. Suzi Chicago. Yeah. Let's see what she has. Let's check out her clip.
Yeah, I'm Suzi Chicago. I was born in Cleveland. Chicago born and raised. I gotta move this mic stand. I don't like standing next to anything thinner than I am. So I'm 69. And I started comedy at 69. Got a lot of life, a lot of stories. When I was your age, I thought 69 would be a much more fun age.
All right, that clip was excellent. It was funny.
Thank you. Love watching myself.
So let's see how you started, because already you're doing corporate gigs. We're going to get to that. Mm-hmm. But your young age, when did you start wanting to be a comedian?
I started comedy at 69, which when I was younger, I thought that would be a much more fun age. And that's when I started, and I'm 70 now.
69 to 70.
Mm-hmm.
So have you always been talented and funny?
I've always been funny. Always been funny. I come from a funny family. I had a father who told jokes from the time he woke up till the time he went to bed. You think I can remember a 3-part joke?
Right.
Not to save my life.
Nice.
But I'm always the personality hire. I'm always in charge of the company Christmas pageant or party or whatever. Mm-hmm. They always put me in charge of that. So
you've been in showbiz beyond comedy. What else have you done in showbiz?
Well, I worked I've been an artist my whole life. I've been a master printmaker, but I worked in the movie business and TV in New Mexico in the costume department, designing and working the set. And I sort of fell into that. I was teaching art in Florence, Italy.
Oh, wow.
And a woman that I met who's no longer with us, but she said to me, "You'd be a great costume designer. I love how you dress. You have such style." And I always had style. My mother used to say, "Well, you may not be pretty, but you got great style." Thanks, Mom.
Nice, Mom.
Yeah, well, anyway. And so I said, "Yeah, but I don't want to work in L.A. I lived in New Mexico at the time." I said, I don't want to be in L.A. And she said, "We have a new program coming to New Mexico," which at the time was brand new, tax incentives. And she said, "I'll call you if I get a show and we'll get you in the union and whatever." And I thought, yeah, whatever. Well, She did. And I went to work on a basketball guerrilla indie. And then I got kicked off of that because I wasn't on the in the union yet. But as the union boss was heading me to my car as they were kicking me off the set, she said, "We heard you're really good. We're pushing your application through." So then I went to work on an ABC Family show for 4 seasons called Wildfire. And never stopped. And then one day I said, this is like 70, 80-hour work weeks. I'm an old broad. I'm going to quit this. So I did. And I loved it, though. I loved behind the scenes. They used to try to get me to be in front of the camera. They always wanted me to be the rich country club lady. I have a resting rich face. My mother would be so proud. I'm so middle class.
Resting rich. Nice.
Yeah, resting rich face. And so, I look like I should be in first class. Coach. And
where do you get your humor from?
I don't know.
Your dad, but...
My dad, I grew up in a crazy family. I mean, just crazy.
They must have been Italians.
No, they were not. They were a WASP. Well, they didn't really tell us our history, our family history. They lied. Mm-hmm. Lying was a big commodity in my family growing up. It didn't help for me to pick relationships later. I was just telling
Robert.
Robert about this. I'm married to a Robert. But so anyway, so my brother was 11 years older, crazy guy, just crazy, very funny, so funny. And my way of navigating our household or to get people who were fighting or drinking, a lot of drinking, was to make everybody laugh. And then I found out through Ancestry.com and 23andMe that I was half Jewish, which nobody mentioned. I was 10% black, which, if you see
I
my
can see
hair,
that.
I know. Am I so white? I give mayonnaise advice. Anyway, and then the other 40% is a whole bunch of European whatever. And but my parents had passed by the time I found this out. So if I ever see them again,
Yeah.
they got some splaining to do.
Right. I did the same thing. I looked
Yeah.
at my past and I'm like, hey, Ma, it says I'm like 82% Italian and the rest is Middle Eastern. So my mom was born and raised in Cairo. My dad was from Ethiopia.
Wow.
And then they moved here 1958. Actually, they got kicked out. Then they had to
They got
come here
kicked
because they
out.
were Jewish. And so they were persecuted. And then they grew up here. But I found out that all the stories my mom said were kind of skewed as well.
Wow.
It's kind of go, okay. Because I was wondering, like, you're in Egypt and you're speaking Italian and Arabic. Like, what are we? And she's like, don't worry about it. I guess back
Well,
then,
after
it's
the
like
war, a lot of people fled. Jews fled to
Yeah.
all over the globe.
all over.
Yeah. So, but you're 80% Italian. I'm
Yeah.
married to 100% Brooklyn Italian.
Okay.
This
I
is my
told
life.
you, you said you had a crazy family.
Well,
You
but
have
I'm
to throw
married
in
to that.
Italian.
Yeah, his family, yeah, he cut all the backs off of his dining room chairs when he was 5 with a handsaw. If I had done that,
Oh,
I
no.
wouldn't be talking to you
Right.
today. My mother would have killed me. So they did not.
He's probably the firstborn.
Oh,
Sp-
absolutely.
Spoiled,
You
right?
got it. You got
He's just
it.
cutting the furniture. Let him go.
He's such a genius.
Yeah, he's expressive. He's showing his, design side.
He also launched a rocket, a homemade rocket, in which he made rocket fuel. I don't know what he made
the
it out of. He
garage.
could tell you. He made it on the kitchen stove and then put it in this rocket, and he shot the rocket through the front of the garage, and he went out the back of the garage. And thank goodness there was an empty field there, because I don't know. I would have been murdered. My father was a safety engineer. We called him Captain Safety. That would not happen in my house. We didn't have any knives. We didn't have any guns. We didn't have any of that stuff in my house.
It's
growing
like
up.
the priest who was a bad kid. You know what I mean? He got the safety father and everything's going
Yeah.
nuts at the house.
Yeah, yeah.
Where did you grow up?
Chicago
Chicago.
suburbs, which are very much like where I live now. I live in North County. I lived on the North Shore, and I grew up just a few blocks from the lake. And I with my special, we called it Late Life Crisis, but I wanted to call it Cooler Near the Lake, because that's what they always say in Chicago when they give you the weather. It's always cooler near the lake.
What was it like? Because typically it sounds like you were behind the scenes and then you're on stage. What was it like, that transformation from going behind the scenes, getting everything done, being all the logistics, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're the actual performer. You have to entertain a crowd. Do you remember that first night or that first day?
I remember the first open mic I did. I was tricked into it. I was part of a mastermind group. Do you know what mastermind groups are?
Yes.
With some people from here and some other people. We were in South Carolina, and I run my husband's business, and I license out my pattern designs also. And so I was there for our business, and about the second day, one of the people said, what would you do that this doesn't seem like this is your love? And I said, well, I got to earn a living. So, yeah, I love it enough to do
Right,
it.
exactly.
And they said, well, what would you do if you could do anything? And I said, I'd probably be a stand-up comedian. And they said, well, you've been making us laugh all weekend. Makes sense. So the last night we were there, they said, we got a surprise for you. We got a present for you. And we were at dinner, and I'm looking for a bag. I'm looking for a box. I'm looking for something. They said, we got you 10 minutes at an open mic in town. I said, oh, well, I don't have an act.
Yeah.
I mean, I just said this to you 2 days ago. I wasn't expecting to go on stage. So they said, well, you tell us, go up and tell a story, one of the stories you told us. So that day I happened to get a text from someone that was meant for someone else. Did you ever have that happen?
Oh, yeah.
And it said, you will be my slave for the entire day. I thought, you got the wrong girl. Anyway, so I pulled that out when I got up on stage, and I was not afraid. I got to a certain age where I don't care anymore.
Right.
I don't care. If you
Right.
don't like me or you don't think I'm funny, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm at that
See ya.
age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking like a young version of me, a younger version.
I'm 63.
Okay, well, I'm 70.
Yeah, so you go, so basically we're the same age. You get in that category. But it's true. It just comes naturally where you go in front of people and you have to give a message, and you used to worry about what you look like, how you presented so much that it would interfere. And when you go up there and just go like, whatever,
Yeah.
it comes out smoother and everyone congratulates you. But you really want to say, I was good because I didn't give a shit.
Well,
You know, like,
and I don't.
I'm done worrying about
Yeah.
it.
And people, the kind of comedy that I like is more of long form stories. I just watched Josh Johnson's new special. He's sort of a long form guy.
Right.
Anyway, but then I came home and I took a comedy class with Tony Calabrese,
Right.
and then I've taken some others in town.
How was
And-
Tony Calabrese's class?
Well, it was the first one I ever took,
Right.
so I didn't know
Nothing to
what to
compare it to.
expect. Right,
Right.
nothing to compare it to, and then you have a showcase at the end, and that was and and I had my knee replaced 2 weeks before the showcase, and I actually got up on that stage and did it. So that was the bugaboo for me. I didn't want to limp. I was too vain to limp, and so it was okay. Tony wants me to be more 1, 2, 3 punch, and I'm not a 1, 2, 3 punch girl. That's just not. I'm tired of people. I know there's funny in there, but I get tired of constant punchline.
Right.
I like it to be a little. Oh, I don't know what's the word.
Strategic.
Well, not just strategic, just kind of hidden a little bit. You know that you're going along. I'd rather have a good story and the punch at
And
the
then
end.
boom.
Yeah,
Right. That's what I like too. That's the long versions.
Yeah, that's a long story.
Yeah, it's like Chappelle. He'll say something right at the beginning, and he'll go through his whole show and then wrap it back. And the final is so good because you go.
The
you kinda-
callback is
yeah,
great.
why did you talk
Yeah.
about that at the beginning? And then it all makes sense.
Yes,
But that's
exactly.
definitely the long version.
And that's what I'm doing. And I'm working on some new stuff I realized when I was about, just turned 70, that I had voices in my head. And I don't mean voices that tell you, go to Walmart parking lot and park there for 3 days. I'm talking, it's all thinking, I think. But anyway, and I realized they had like accents that my one voice in my head who's warning me about things or whatever, she's a Southern belle. She says, well, Susie, I don't think I'd do that if I were you. Don't you take those 20 milligrams edibles at your son's wedding. And then my other voice
Just take 10.
is a Jewish mother,
Oh.
which, I think I come by honestly now that I know my heritage. And, and she
It
says,
all makes sense now.
yeah. And so I'm using that within the stories, those voices. And it's working. I mean, it's new, but I've been doing a lot of open mics and trying it out, and it's working.
I heard a guy say a Jewish mother joke. He goes, why do Jewish moms like that show 60 Minutes? Because it starts like this. I got a Jewish mom. I know how that is. It's like everything is like this guilt.
Yeah.
And then I married a Catholic woman, which is really nice, and they have the same amount of guilt in their
it's very
religion, so that
similar
it
to
all
guilt.
works out, right?
Yeah.
That's why Italians and Jews get along. It's all about the guilt.
And my mother was the black Southern belle, and my father was the Jew. And but he had a Jewish mother. He had notes from her that he kept all his life. She told him, Robert, practice your violin 10 times. Robert, take out the garbage, or whatever it was. He saved all these things. I said, was that enough to have her tell you
Right,
what to do?
exactly. You want to be tormented your whole life?
He loved it. He thought it was
That
funny.
is a cool thing. Just put them up on the wall.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what I had to go through.
Yeah.
That's why I'm neurotic right now on meds.
Yeah, and I'm a neurotic Jew. I am. I have a bad stomach. I
Yeah.
have all the things. Now
It's
it all
definitely a
makes
Jewish
sense.
trait.
It
You know,
is.
they get the anxiety, the worry, the, oh my God, stay calm,
Right.
no fighting.
And I grew up in a very
religion of
Jewish
tolerance.
neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to 12 bar mitzvahs and 13 bat mitzvahs when I was in 7th and 8th grade. So I know the entire service. So when I found this out, I thought, well, I'm going to call a
Right.
rabbi. But, you can't just call a rabbi. You got to call him 3 times
Yeah.
just to get them to respond. No, nobody told me that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, I'm not really a joiner. So religion gets me a little nervous because
Right.
I've been baptized in several churches. And I say I've been sprinkled, sprayed, dunked, and damn near drowned, and I still don't quite get that Jesus thing. Anyway, and that's because I found out I was a Jew. Well, no wonder. People say it takes 10 years to get your comedic voice. I'm 70 years old.
Right.
I don't have 10
You don't
years.
got time.
This is the voice.
Exactly.
We're not getting it from somewhere else. She's here.
Yeah, it's not changing.
So, my comedy, when I saw the first cuts of my special, I kind of felt like I was going to throw up in my mouth a little bit. I don't like seeing myself on camera so much, but I'm getting over that. And I'm sure in a year or so I'll say, but, not bad.
It doesn't matter. You're doing what you're supposed to do.
I am, and nobody's stopping me. I am like driven. Like I think you had Ala on, a friend of mine,
Yeah.
Ala, and she says this is a woman who does not let grass grow under her feet. She gets it done. If she tells you in the morning she's going to do something, by noon it's done, and that's just how I am.
That's unique for a comedian.
It is. It is. And someone said, "Oh, you should start your own shows." And there's so many shows now in San Diego. I don't want to start another show, but I said, I don't want to get caught in those weeds of running a show and booking people and whatever. And I have a podcast. That's enough.
So now we're going to listen to, and those of you who are watching, if you think you have a story to tell, just go on thecomedyequation.com and send us your thing. But I'm going to ask her a question that you should listen to. And that's, you did the stages, right? You went to the comedy shows, and then you got a special. So this whole platform is how to make a comedy pay. How to make it pay? How to make it pay. 'Cause
Money and comedy?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think? I'm Dave Chappelle?
Right, exactly. So a lot of people are not getting paid, but the corporate events will pay you.
Exactly.
So what Tony
That's-
Calabrese teaches is
Yeah.
clean comedy, so you can get hired with the corporate, and you did it. So
Yeah.
what was that like, and what was that process?
Well, I know a lot of corporations. I worked in a lot of businesses, so that helped. When they found out I was doing comedy, they called me. I didn't call them. They said, "You've always been funny. We want to hire you." And
Nice.
so I'm about to go to Atlanta, and in our business, my husband's a knife maker. There's a big show. Tony knows all about my husband's knives. He knew exactly who he was when I told him. In fact, he calls me by my husband's name, and nobody calls me that. Just Tony. I let him do it.
Well, let's do a shout out for your husband. What's his name?
His name is Bob Terzuola, and he wrote a book, and we produced a 12-part series, which is about to go viral. It's about to go to a big platform now, like Forged in Fire or one of those shows. I'm going down to the Blade Show, which is the biggest knife show in the world, the one in Atlanta. And I was hired by a guy who runs a barbecue the night before the show starts to do a stand-up, and I'm going to roast the knife guys.
Oh, nice.
So I've always, had things to say about knife makers because they are some personalities. I want to write a pilot about this industry.
Right.
And anyway, but there are some guys who are just characters beyond belief. They make comedians look boring. Okay.
Wow.
And so I'm going to be roasting these guys. So I've been just literally writing as much as I can, and I'll have a piece of paper. I'm not going to memorize it all because my memory is not as good as it was. But so I'm going to do that Thursday night, and I don't know how many people there. Thousands will be there.
I think you have what it takes to have a YouTube show about knives, and you be the host, and just interview all these crazy guys and wild stories.
I started my podcast with my husband. When I came back from that being tricked into the open mic, they said you should at least have a podcast. You've got a great personality, So I said, my husband, I was going to do. I did the podcast with people who work together, couples who work together. Well, that was not sustainable.
Mm-mm.
I didn't really think that through because one of the people was social, and the other person.
Zero.
Sometimes it was the knife maker. Sometimes it was the person who did the books and ran everything else. Was so shy they didn't want to be. They didn't want to be interviewed, and so I would have to beg these people to be on my. And then I went down to Atlanta to Honest Fox's showcase. There's my managers, and I went down there and I met some comics. I thought I want to have them on the podcast. They're fun. Well, comics love to talk.
Yeah.
So we switched from that, and then my managers kicked him off. They said, "You're kind of low, not a lot of energy. She's lots of energy." And so he said, "Fine, I'll go make knives." That's what he likes to do anyway. So he was fine. But he's very supportive of the whole thing. So when I first met him, the first night we spent together, don't tell my mother, as we were going to sleep, I said some smart ass remark, something I would say, and
And
he
he
said,
pulled a knife on you?
no, no. He knew I was serious. We were serious though. When I can open one with one hand, I
Right.
can open and close with one hand. But he said, I made him laugh as we were going to sleep. He said, I want to go to sleep every night like this. And 25 years later, he's still.
Have you ever
still-
made a knife with him?
No, and you know why? I used to make jewelry. When I retired from the movies, I had all these scraps of this fancy material, this Damascus steel and all kinds of stuff that I won't bore you with. But anyway, and I started making jewelry because I'm pretty good with my hands in his shop. And then I pretty much had my own bench, and then I got my own grinder, and because, we couldn't share all that stuff,
Right.
for better or for worse, but never in the shop, I say, or never for lunch. So, so I was an Etsy seller. I started selling. I didn't know where to sell on Etsy. Well, I became like one of the top Etsy sellers. And the fact they flew me out there, I went to Etsy and went to their Brooklyn offices, and they wined and dined me. And then I looked around and I went,
It's not me.
I didn't really want to be a jeweler. I was just doing this for fun.
Right.
But anyway, I made a lot of jewelry, and he'd say, you could really grind a blade. And I'd say, if I grind a blade, you are going to lock me. You're going to chain me to these machines.
Exactly.
And I'd be in there all the time. If I wanted to be a knife maker, I'd be one. So I've never made a knife with him. And he keeps asking, and he has macular degeneration, so he's not going to be making knives forever. So I don't know if I'll make one. I'm just afraid that I'll never get out of that shop.
Yeah, he's going to chain you up there and go, I got a new employee.
Yeah.
Got to help me manufacture these things. They're
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
That is a tough thing to make. Making one knife is one thing, but manufacturing was a different story.
Yeah, and we don't manufacture them. We have other people do that with factories all over the world. I think we're in 7 countries we produce knives.
So
We
it
aren't
se-
doing China anymore.
It seems like you're really comfortable being in front of people and speaking. Was that true?
It's true. As a kid, I was very shy. I have a report card from 3rd grade that says, Suzi has not said a word all quarter.
Wow.
And puberty changed that for me. I don't know what happened. I just
Started talking.
Yeah.
The Italian blood kicked in.
I don't have an Italian blood.
Oh.
It was the Italian
The Italian
penetration, the Italian injection, or whatever you want to call it.
Exactly.
That's what.
Woke you up.
No,
I can talk now with my hands.
No. And
you
you know
ever-
this.
Yeah,
if he does
exactly.
this, that
Yeah.
means you better be paying attention.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what that meant.
Oh yeah. There's all sorts of hand gestures. My mom.
Oh yeah,
uses.
I get all,
Bite the
I get them
finger.
all. And I get this thing, the hands. It's put the hands down. I don't want to talk to the hand. So I get that all the time. Yeah,
Have
but
you
I
ever
do
been?
love it.
Have you ever been heckled?
Yes.
How was that like?
One time I was at Grand Comedy Club. I got up for the open mic. Because so you have to understand something about me. When I do something, I do it 110%. I don't know how to fail. I don't know how to fail. I only am successful. And people say, well, that's a big ego. No. Look at my track record. If you're going to do it well. So anyway, I got up at Grand Comedy Club, and I did over 100 open mics my first year.
Wow.
I'm going to do 100 this year too. And I got up, and all these young guys are looking from the audience like, who is this? And they go, hey, Grandma.
Oh no.
I said, hey, Grandma. I said, just don't call me great grandma, or I'm going to come down there and make you sorry. These guys all backed up. They're afraid of me anyway. They love me now. They
Of
know who I
course.
am. But yeah, I've been heckled with that. And what else? Otherwise, I don't get heckled. I've seen other people get heckled much more than I do. I think my age protects me from a little of that. And I thank you for living that long.
How long does it take you to get your material ready for, let's say, a corporate event?
Well, it depends on what it is. For this knife one, I knew I was going to do this for a long time. So I've had a much longer lead time. Maybe, I don't know, it depends. I did a bunch of medical ones this last Christmas. I did Christmas parties where the person who hires you thinks you're hysterical, but the other 299 people in
no.
the room have never heard of you,
Right.
and they didn't even know there was going to be comedy.
Oh no.
So I try to work a little bit of the audience in to get them to, buy into me a little bit by, a little bit about them. And it does help that years and years and years ago, when I was very shy still, I was at Second City in Chicago. My boss gave me a gift certificate to sign up if I got in for their workshop, their beginner's workshop. And what we did as I worked my way through the workshops is we would warm up the audience on Friday and Saturday nights. and I love that. It's crowd work.
Wow.
But
Yeah, that
it's
is
really
crowd
the
work.
same 6 questions, and if you got a joke for each of those questions, pretty much, and I'm pretty good at reading people. I can tell by their shoes and what they're wearing, what they do for a living, and after being a costumer for many years, I can really tell that. I hand out red
Smart.
tags during my shows to people who are poorly dressed. I
Oh,
give them the
no.
wardrobe red tag.
Oh, no.
So if I discuss that during my set,
Right.
then I'll do that. Otherwise, I don't just randomly give out red tags. But
What places do you like to work on the best? Like, San Diego has a pretty good comedy.
incredible
Community.
comedy. Probably Mic Drop is my favorite.
Yeah.
I would call that my home club. I took Jesse Egan's class several times. He was the director of my special. Do you know Jesse?
Of course, Jesse
Of course
Egan.
Yes.
Yeah, he's really good. I'm going to have him on the show.
Oh, good. He's such a great
more
guy.
not as a beginning comedian, but more as the guy behind the scenes that gets the comics ready
Yeah.
and what that's like. And of course, he's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, just talking to him, you're going to laugh. So yeah, I invited him on
Oh
the
yeah.
show.
And he does all kinds of.
He's a good producer.
He's an amazing man.
Yeah.
He has a skill that not everybody has, a teaching skill who's a comedian who runs classes. I took a Lisa Sunstat's class at the Comedy Store once.
No bueno.
No bueno.
Some people work with others and they don't work
Right.
with others.
right.
So, you know,
Yeah. And Jesse is just a doll. He is
Yeah.
just a doll, 100% doll. And Tony's a doll too. Tony's had so many health issues, though. I feel sorry for him. I feel like I should be helping him.
Tony has a bad back.
I know, but
And he won't sit down during his act. He's so stubborn, typical stubborn Italian. It's like, Tony, we know you have a bad back because I'm standing up. So
Yeah.
he goes up there with a cane and he's suffering and he still delivers. But I always like focus on the guy's going through so much pain.
I know.
But hopefully he'll figure out how to get rid of that. But yeah,
Well, he's
it's
lost a lot of
intense.
weight, so that'll
Okay,
help.
good.
And he and my husband really hit it off. They are in love. Every time I go to see Tony, my husband gives me food to give him.
No.
I mean, I can't go without food. And so, I thought they were going to run away together for a while.
Yeah,
They
Tony
really-
Calabrese is a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
He's really, really cool
Yeah.
guy. I like what he's doing with all the people because he does have that knack
Mhm.
to tell people the truth,
Mhm.
but tell the people the truth in a good way to help them get better.
Yeah,
And he's very patient,
yeah.
and he has some good funny stories of things that went wrong. Have you ever seen anything go wrong in your studio or in your shows?
Have I seen that? I did a show in Atlanta that was a showcase, and they couldn't find one of the comedians because he was out in the parking lot getting high.
All right.
And so they introduced him because he was standing right
Right,
backstage.
right.
And I don't know what happened.
Right.
And so they got up there like, oh, he's not here. Okay. And then the next comedian, which they had to round up, came
Oh,
up.
no.
But that happened. What else? I've seen people forget their material, and I've forgotten my material too. I do this whole thing about all my marriages, and at the end, I did it the other day, and I forgot the punchline.
Oh no.
And so now I have a checkup with my doctor tomorrow, but I'm going to take some brain stuff that Joe Rogan talks about. I don't know. It's probably,
I thought about
snake
taking
oil.
that too. He says he
Yeah?
takes it before he goes
yeah.
to MMA fight because he has to remember so many
Yeah,
fighters and
yeah,
the positions.
So
Let me know how that works.
Okay, I'll let you know. It says it takes about 4 weeks. My husband said, well, why are you ordering it for you? Get some for me too. So I said, okay. So I got it for both of us. So I'll let you know.
I find myself going into a room and forgetting why I went in there. And then I come back out and I remember and I go back and I forget again. It's like I'm like, okay, please.
Yeah.
You could just tell. So you're in the corporate event and then what are you going to do? Like, where do you see yourself? Are you taking this full on?
Full on until I can't do it anymore or I can't remember my routine, whichever comes first.
Are you trying to go for like an arena or a Netflix special or try to,
A Netflix special. Yeah.
like next level?
Next level, definitely next level. What I'd like to do, I'm going to open for some comedians. I think I can't say yet because I haven't signed the contracts, but I'm going to open for some bigger female comedians in the South. My market is people with an attention span of more than
Right.
12 seconds,
Right.
which is
High bar for what you're doing. You think it's a low bar, but it's like a high bar.
It's a high bar.
Like, yes.
Yes, and so to open for people, will I be a headliner? I don't know if I'll be a headliner. I don't know if I have enough time. Everyone says, well, haven't been doing it long enough, and they sort of look down at that. but I got a lot of life
Right.
behind
100%.
behind. At 20, what are they talking about? Dating,
Right.
school,
Right. Drinking.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm going. I'd like to do. I try to do a corporate event every month now. So I'm booked through December. I'm completely booked. In November, I'm booked. I'm booked a lot at corporate places, mostly out of town. And how I get one, I'm not looking for them.
Right.
Is I do one, and somebody hires me from doing one.
Referral.
Yeah.
Yeah, this person's good. That's the best way to get. That's how Hollywood works a lot of times. Hey, there's this guy.
It's not what
wanna
you know;
meet
it's
him.
who you know.
Right, exactly. You could go on all these auditions all day long, and they already pegged the
Yeah.
guy that wasn't even at the audition
Yeah.
because they fit.
Dependent. Okay. The other thing I believe in, and I'm going to tell this to comics: make your own room. Don't wait for someone to pick you. I worked in the movie industry, and I watched actors go for auditions and auditions and auditions. But the ones who've done the best made their own shows. They made their own tapes. They did everything themselves, and that's how they got out there. Now there's YouTube. You don't have to
Right.
wait for a studio to pick
No,
you
you
up. You
don't.
can produce something now. Make your own room. Okay, Tony tells people to make your own show. I don't know if I want to be a showrunner because I'll get into that, and that's a
Right.
whole different. I don't want to be a showrunner, but make your own show.
I do see you, even speaking to you briefly, like right now, I can totally see you being a CEO of a production team because you know behind the scenes so good. The logistics of it is a nightmare, but you have that handled.
Mm-hmm.
The contracts you sign, you know them and you read them.
I know all about licensing. Yeah.
Getting people to listen to you, a command presence you have. You're a no nonsense
Really?
person.
Thank
I could see, but you're hilarious. But it's also like you can run it. It kind of remind me of a version of Maria Herman. Do you know who Maria Herman
I
is?
do. I did a show at and her husband. She and her husband took me outside. He said, I just started." He said,
Right.
"You're really good. He said, "You remind me of my wife."
See, there you go. She's just like that. She's very, very sharp and she's good on stage. But I've worked with her. She's a producer, director,
Mm-hmm.
and everything. Dot your I's, cross your T's. You don't want to get out of line because she shows you the professional side. If you want to take this seriously and make a living, you have to be as disciplined as someone having on a budget making a movie.
Yeah.
And that's right. So that's why I see you in that. You'd be very, very good at
Yeah,
that.
well, I produced, it was my first production, my husband's 12-part series about how to make a knife. He had written a book about it, and it's the Bible of folding knife making. And I said to him when I retired, I said, I would
have one
like
right
to put this on film because nobody's reading anymore. And so I hired a crew from New Mexico. The same crew came out to shoot my special also. These guys were so great. Oh, they're so nice. And they shot his 12-part series, which now it's in development.
Wow,
So
that
anyway,
is
but I
so
ran that whole
exciting.
thing, and it was so easy for me.
World is social media helping or hurting you comedy-wise?
It's helping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's a part and parcel. You got to do both of them now. You can't just go to a show or go to open mics or whatever. No, you got to have, but you have to have more than your social clips. You got to be able to back them up.
What is your favorite snack after a show?
What is my favorite snack? Oh man. Well, I'm a white powder junkie, sugar, and I've been off of sugar since the first of the year.
Congratulations.
Hardest thing I ever did.
I did the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and 20 pounds.
Nice.
What is my favorite snack? Actually, green grapes are my favorite thing.
Go-to.
So if I always have like grapes ready or some piece of fresh fruit.
Yeah.
So
Little sugar burst, but fructose, not your
yeah.
cane
It's
sugar.
not putting that weight on like that.
Right.
But I do love. We were in just in a store with Robert, and there was all kinds of sugar lined up there. I was like, ugh.
Yeah. They have the best chocolate rack over there, don't they? At Whole
Oh,
Foods.
I walked by that. You know what? I'm not a chocoholic.
Oh.
I like Twizzlers and
Yeah.
Good and Plenty and Mike and Ike's and garbage candy, like the movie candy.
I like
love.
hot tamales.
I like hot tamales
those are
too.
the best.
Mwah, mwah,
When I
mwah.
see hot
Now
tamales,
you're
I'm
making
like,
my mouth
"Ooh."
water.
Exactly.
Quit it.
Favorite comedy movie?
Oh my gosh. Well, we said Mad Mad World. What is my favorite comedy movie? I don't know. Uncle Buck. I love Uncle Buck. Can it be a special or can it be just have to
Yeah.
have a plot? Oh, anything Nate Bargatze does. His movie comes out Friday, and I'm going to see it this weekend.
That's
yeah,
going to be good.
yeah. I hope it's good. I hope it. He does what he wants to do, which is everybody can go see that movie. So, yeah, that's what I can think of off the top of my head.
Best comedian alive right now.
Nate Bargatze.
I think she's in love with Nate.
Leanne Morgan's second. I do love clean comedy, and I do love a Southern drawl. My family, my Negro family, is from Mississippi, and I think that's in me. So yeah, I love it.
You got the DNA.
Yeah, I got it.
Right.
I just don't look like it, but I got it.
Right.
What's one thing that audiences don't understand about comedians?
Don't understand about what?
Comedians.
That we're kind of shy sometimes. That I was shy when I was younger, but a lot of them totally are shy or on the spectrum.
Right.
They get up there and I'm like, and then you try and talk to them and I'm like, whoa, where'd that go? So you're laughing.
It's so true.
Well, I mean, a lot of, and some of my favorite comedians, there's a woman, what is her name? Janet something. She's on the spectrum. She is so funny. She's in New York now. She just moved to New York. But I have a son on the spectrum, so I also understand it. So,
Biggest lesson comedy has taught you?
Time means nothing.
Nice.
Because I see people who've been doing it 18 years. I think you ought to be better at this.
Right.
You ought to be better at this. Or you're still in San Diego? Hello. Do you want to go somewhere else? I mean, this is a lovely place. Believe me, it's hard to want to go to, Pittsburgh
Right.
on a December day. But, if they want me for an arena, I'm on that plane.
All right, Frank, last question.
Well, where do you see yourself? This sounds like a question you'd be in an interview, but it's really true. I see you taking off, like you're already flying. You're at altitude. You're gonna break through the glass.
Thank you.
I can really feel it. You give me. It's almost like I'm watching you on the stage right now. Yeah, because you're very entertaining, and I want to focus on what you're saying, which is weird because I ADHD, right?
Me too.
But you're
Shiny.
You're very, very sharp. You're very sharp.
Thank you.
Where do you want to be in 2 years?
I want to be opening at theaters. I want theaters. I was at the Balboa Theater to see Osco.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know Osco with the
Mhm.
bowl cut?
Yes.
Her fans wear wigs, and I give away
Nice.
glasses at my shows, round
Round
glasses
glasses.
that say Suzi Chicago on the side.
Nice.
And I love looking out in the audience and seeing people wearing those glasses. And I thought, her fans all meet in the lobby and they all have the bowl cut. So I bought a $15 wig on Amazon and I put this wig on and me in black hair. It was very funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I went to the show and there was no one there wearing the thing. I felt kind of silly. So I'm sitting there waiting for the show to start. And her husband comes up to me and he says, "Excuse me, Oscar would like to meet you. She'd like you to come up on stage." So here I was
Wow.
thinking I'm a spectator.
Right.
Yeah, I go in the back of the Balboa Theater, which I'd love to play. I mean, Zoltan played that. I don't know if I'll ever get there. But anyway, I'm up there with her, with the bowl cut. I've got great videos of us together and in front of 3,000 people. That's where I'd like to be.
How do we get to see you? I think your fan base is going to build with this show and other shows, but we want to make sure. First of all, I want you guys to subscribe because this is what we do. We're building something from the ground up, following the comedians before they really explode. You're on your way. You're highly elevated. They will say, altitude is attitude, and your attitude is perfect, especially not really caring. And when people say, "I don't care what people think," it's not like we don't like them. We just realize the ego's gone. And once your ego's gone, and once you don't take things personal, you can achieve much more. So, what's your handle? Where can we find you?
I'm at Suzi Chicago on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel, Suzi Chicago. The podcast is Suzi Chicago. Everything's Suzi Chicago.
There's a lot of ways to spell Suzi. How do you spell it?
Suzi. Thank you for asking. Let me tell you why it's spelled that way. I am Suzi number 4.
Okay.
My great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, and me. And we had to keep us So
Whatever.
true. And
Thank
I
you
thought, anyway, thank you for having
No,
me.
thank you. The
I've-
pleasure is mine. I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to continuing this. I'm also going to find out where you're going to play because I want to see you on stage. I'll wear your glasses if you like.
Okay, at the
Yeah,
end of the
I'll bring
month,
my
I'll be
crew.
at Mic Drop with the guys.
perfect. I love Mic
guys
Drop.
night. I'll
What-
be
what-
at the end of June. I'll be at Mic Drop the last Friday in June.
Okay, last Friday in June, mic drop. Let's go give her some
Come
support.
out and see me. It'll be, I don't know who's going to be on it. It's a guy from LA that's doing this show. He's a crazy man. He's very Jewish. He says that believes the pyramids were built by Jews, and he has a nose. I'm not exact. Cyrano de Bergerac has nothing on him, and he turns his head to the side. He says, "You see what I mean?" I mean, it's so funny. So, come see us. Well, it should be a crazy group.
I'd love to. Thank you so much.
All right.
And for those of you out there, give some support. Hit that subscribe if something you'd like to follow, watching the talent rise up. And I will see you next time on The Comedy Equation. Take it easy.
And that right there is The Comedy Equation. Full episodes on YouTube.